And if we are taking musical instructions, we're going forward because according to All Stars, we're not backing back at all. We're inside Pan Month and it is a Tuesday, so we are getting ready. We have guests in studio and you will be joined by host Shamla Miraj for Unique, Not Different.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Unique, Not Different with me, Shamla. Today, I have Jeremy Francis, who is an organizational development specialist, and Dr. Stacy John-Legere, who is a neurodevelopment pediatrician. Both are the founding directors of the Neurodevelopment Foundation, and they are here to talk about their foundation. So, Dr. Stacy, I would start with you. Good morning, and how are you doing?
Good morning. I'm fine. Thank you for the invitation.
It's a pleasure. So what inspired the creation of the Neurodiversity Foundation, and what is the core mission of this foundation?
So Jeremy likes to tell people that he was sitting at my kitchen table many years ago and decided that we should use our expertise to help our families back in Trinidad. I think it is an extension of the kitchen table conversation, a bit of us using our professional expertise, our lived experience, and the fact that, you know, at heart, even though I live in the UK now, this is home. And to use what I know, my everyday work, our clinical work, the patients that I meet, their stories, to help those at home. So our main focus right now is on advocacy, raising awareness on neurodiversity, and thinking about the whole life course approach.
Awesome. So Jeremy, your background is in organizational development and HR across the region. How does this shape the experience? How does your experience shape the foundation approach to workplace inclusion and neurodivergent individual?
So over the years, doing work with companies, one of the issues that I come across a lot are issues dealing with well-being and psychological safety, which is essentially people feeling safe and being able to be themselves at work. And there's a lot of stress and burnout that comes around that. So one of the things we've recognized is that we don't all think the same way. We don't all operate in the same environment at work. And that tends to cause a lot of stress. So the work of the foundation, and through my own research as well, is to make companies aware that it isn't a one-size-fits-all process at work with how we deal with staff, how we deal with customers, and that we need to be more aware that people think differently and that they react differently. And we need to take those things into consideration when we build workplace policies and put those things in place.
Awesome. So Dr. Stacy, as a neurodevelopment pediatrician, how does your clinical work with children and young people inform the foundation advocacy and programming?
So one of the best outcomes that I've experienced in my clinical work is when a young person or a family say, wow, thank you for explaining why I've always felt different. Thank you for letting me know, you know, the things that I could do to go forward in life, because up until this point, it was so confusing. I didn't know what was going on and no one seemed able to help. So being able to offer a diagnosis where it's necessary, being able to help families and children through that process is part of the knowledge that I bring. As a consultant pediatrician, I also have expertise in child safeguarding and neurodevelopment, as well as thinking about the impact of trauma. So that holistic thinking enables us in the foundation to apply that in our strategic work, in our teaching, in our advocacy, in raising awareness. Because as we know, our global prevalence figures for neurodiversity is anywhere around 15%. That's 15 out of every 100 people that we meet will have a neurodivergent condition. And those who have one condition, anywhere between half to 1/5 of them will have another one. So it's thinking about how we can apply all of those knowledge and systems across to help the majority of people.
So Jeremy, one of your objectives is to provide support and technical assistance to other organizations. What kind of partnership or collaboration are you hoping to build locally and regionally, even internationally?
Sure. So one of the more important things we've recognized is that neurodiversity as a concept isn't very well known in Trinidad and in the region. So one of the first things we've been doing is partnering with organizations and academic organizations as well, such as COSTAT and UWI, to raise awareness to let people know what neurodiversity is, how it impacts us, both as children and as adults, and we use that as a springboard to develop more research. So at my big old age, I'm a student again at UWI, and my work focuses on understanding how neurodiversity affects the workplace. So on one level, it is us making sure that we take as much opportunity as possible to speak to organizations, speak to schools, speak with NGOs about what neurodiversity is, get that understanding out there, and then as well build a research platform on top of that. So we're working with a number of other NGOs in the space. We are doing work with COSTAT as well as the University of the West Indies, and we're hoping to reach out to regional universities as well as other organizations within the Caribbean to further the cause of neurodiversity.
Dr. Stacy, the foundation also supports holistic development of the neurodivergent community. What does a holistic approach look like in practice from both a clinical and community perspective?
When we're thinking of a holistic approach, we're really understanding that it's not unidimensional. As Jeremy was saying, neurodivergence is a difference in the way people think. Holistic support encourages support around physical needs, emotional needs, social, societal, emotional, and spiritual needs. So from a clinical perspective, as a doctor, as a paediatrician, I'm thinking about not just the patient in front of me, but what will my intervention do? What support will they need to succeed in life? And so the key for a holistic approach is ambition for the family, the child, the young person, and the society around you, and thinking of all of those adjuvants and support structures that will enable that to happen. I like to think of it as, the person, so the person in front of you, the individual, what do we need to do in that moment or in the foreseeable future to support them to achieve their individual potential, but also that of our people and our society. What's the context? How do we implement structural reform or thinking that will help not just those who are neurodivergent, but the whole population in understanding and allowing all to achieve their best potential.
So, Jeremy, how can viewers support and get involved with the Neurodiversity Foundation, whether family educators, employers, or advocates?
So at the first level, it's about understanding what it is. So of course, there's a whole wide web there in terms of getting information, in terms of what neurodiversity is. And we're speaking specifically about conditions such as autism, dyslexia, ADHD, and other related conditions. So we may all know someone who we think behaves a little bit differently, or we call them a little special. And we need to understand that there are a lot of biases that we have around people who are different. So first of all, we need to check ourselves when we are having those conversations about people who we think are different, and understand, as we said before, not everyone thinks in the same way. Outside of that, I've made myself available to come to organizations, NGOs, schools to have discussions about what neurodiversity is, how it impacts us both at home, at work, and at school. So that is a conversation that I am willing to have. Dr. John-Legere will also visit Trinidad from time to time. We're making arrangements for that to happen, to have special workshops as well as podcasts as well, where we will be sharing more information on this.
Nice. And closing remarks, Dr. Legere, I would start with you. What would you like the nation to know about your organization and about neurodiversity in general?
So about the organization, I think the key thing is we're here to support all types of neurodevelopmental differences. And the reason for that is, as I said earlier in the program, there's an increased chance of someone having an additional neurodivergent condition if they have been diagnosed with one. So it's really important to think not just about autism in its little box, ADHD in its little box, or dyslexia in their little box, but thinking really about the person in front of you and what their needs are in that holistic manner. For the nation, I'd like them to think that its first steps aren't that difficult. We can try with small steps that make a great difference, such as things I've seen in school success where exam timetables are given months in advance, and that reduces anxiety of the child as well as their parents. And with the timetable will come the topics that they're being tested on. As simple as that. So that preparation helps and reduces any fear that they may feel and increases their performance. Such simple
Jeremy,
steps.
Jeremy, in a few seconds, can you just tell me what you would like the population to know about the foundation in general?
So what I would like to say to everyone is that it is okay to be weird, it is okay to be different, and we need to accept and embrace our difference and our weirdness, and don't think that we are less than because we don't think the way that everyone else does.
And by chance, quickly, do you have any contact information in case individuals or anyone want to get in contact with the foundation?
Sure, so you can email us at foundation.neurodiversity@gmail.com, or you can look me up on LinkedIn, Jeremy Francis, Trinidad and Tobago, connect with me, and we can have a conversation from there.
Fantastic. Stacy, Dr. Stacy and Jeremy, it's always a pleasure, and thank you for doing what you do. I know a lot of individuals who have children with, who is neurodiverse, so this would be a great impact, and they don't have the resources, especially even in organizations and businesses. So thank you so much for taking the time and doing what you do. So guys, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to this week's segment of Unique Not Different. As I always say, be good, do good. Bye everyone.